Want me to go ahead and start?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. This is Area Mays with Let's Talk About Real Estate. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, we're going to talk about the terminologies that's involved when you purchase a home so that you'll know that once you're out and you're talking with the realtor, you'll know some of the terminologies of what they're talking about in advance. Right now is an absolute good time to purchase a home. We are seeing that the interest rates are going down some. There's grants available for to purchase home. You can possibly purchase a house with 100% down. First-time home buyers can get down payment assistance. So right now, February 2026 is an absolute good time to purchase a home. Always remember that when you get ready to purchase a home, that your credit score would need to be up to par. So I'm going to discuss some of the terminologies that's involved in real estate, in the process of when you get ready to buy a house so that you can understand a lot that goes into it and you can understand the terminology when you're talking with a realtor and the realtor may be mentioning some terminologies that you may not have been familiar with. Today, you'll get familiar with those terminologies. And that's what I want to be sure that you all can take away from this on today. Because it's Black History Month, it's the end of Black History. I was at a meeting and we was talking about how sometimes African Americans are not informed. So they're not educated on the process of buying a house. And that's what I want to give you some input on today. We always want you to be informed and know that purchasing a home is such a good benefit. It's generational wealth. And I'll repeat that over and over again, because once you buy a house, you get equity. And in that equity and owning a home, paying off the house, you got generational wealth that you can pass down to family members. And that's a very good tool and something that can be beneficial to you, your children's, and your grandchildren's. Home from my notes, it's a home ownership builds generational wealth. I want to definitely put emphasis on that and knowing the importance of what you have when you buy a house. You can have generational wealth. It provides housing stability and community roots. I mean, that's a good thing. That means a person, perhaps that your kids or your grandkids, when they inherit your home, they won't have to rent a house. They can already have a home that they can call home and have equity in their home. Create an equity that can be passed down from generation to generation. That's really important. And some of us have enjoyed that benefits when our parents owned home in the past and they was able to pass those houses down, because of course, when they pass away, if you own a home, then of course it goes to your family member, but you definitely want to be sure to know how to put it in order so that everything can transfer legally if you may pass away. So that's something that we'll talk about as well. It protects against the rent cost. So, when you're renting a house, you basically you're paying a mortgage note for someone else. That's basically what it is. So they're reaping the benefit of you paying rent each month. So we want to help people to change their mind thought from renting to owning their own home. And if you ever need more details about that, feel free to call me. I can talk with you one-on-one about that and let you know the importance of it, so that if I can help you with getting into a new home, that would be my ultimate job to do. Historical context is that the brief things that we don't know about is things such as what goes on in the world in reference to redlining and discrimination. So the Fair Housing Act is an act that causes us to be able to purchase a home regardless of your age or the color of your skin, your sexual preference, whether you're handicapped. Anybody can purchase a home. So we do have the Fair Housing Act that protects us from discrimination. Redlining is where somebody tried to prevent you from buying a house in a particular location. If you have gotten pre-approved to purchase a home, you can buy a house in any location that you're pre-approved for. So don't ever let anyone tell you that you can't buy a house in a certain location if you have qualified and gotten your pre-approval to be able to purchase a home in an area. So, we don't want people to be discriminated against, and we want them to know this is important. It's where the education come in. We want you to know that there are laws and rules that protect you from being discriminated. Now, to overview on the house buying process. Financial preparation, that's something that I have talked about over and over again, and I keep that in front of you because that's important. When you're getting ready to purchase a home, you want to be financially prepared. That means that your credit score has to be up to par. Someone may ask, well, what does my credit score have to be? I would say at least a 620 or above is a good credit score. If you have credit issues, be sure to talk with a counselor, a financial counselor, to try to figure out what needs to be done to be able to get you up to the credit score so that you can buy a house. Reducing your debt. Know when you're getting ready to purchase a home, your debt plays into the factor, okay? So you don't want to have a lot of debt when you get ready to purchase a home, or you want to have a limited amount of debt. So just let me give you an example. If you was going to buy a house this year, and then you was also going to buy a car this year, perhaps you want to wait and get the house first before you buy the car, because buying the car before you buy the house can affect the amount that you will be pre-approved for to buy a house. So you want to be sure that you reduce your debt. If you have credit card bills, we say that you be sure to pay those down. Your limit on your credit card makes a big difference. And if you don't want to close it, now keep in mind, you do not want to close your credit cards account. You want to pay them down to a limited amount. For example, if you got a $1,000 limit credit card, then you want to get that below a 30% of the credit limit. 30% below the credit limit would be possibly about $300. So you want to pay your credit cards down. This make a significant difference when you get ready to pay a house. But on the flip side, do not close accounts, because when you close an account, it could possibly affect your credit score. So do not close the account. Just keep the credit limited amount down low, under 30%. That's very, very, very important. Being prepared to have money for down payment or all that it may cost to purchase a home. And although we say that you can possibly get a 100% loan with no down payment, that does not mean that you can just buy a house and not have any money. You still got to have money for various things, such as for your home inspection, your appraisal, money to move in. So always save up money when you get ready to purchase a home, because there'll be things that'll come up that you'll need money. And there's no guarantee that you'll be able to get a loan, that a 100% loan that you don't have down payment. So if you can get a loan if you can get a loan and you have to pay the down payment, you'll need money for that. But not only that, you'll need money for closing costs. Now, what is closing costs? That's the fees that it takes to get your loan to the closing table. That's your lender fees, your attorney fees, your appraisal fees, all the fees that's involved. And typically, that's usually about 3% of the sale price. Now, a lot of times, and more than we get no's, we get more yeses from sellers who will agree to pay your closing costs. So that's something that's involved in the transaction. However, when a realtor is negotiating your transaction, that we ask the seller to pay your closing costs. And a lot of times the seller have already prepared, when they list the house on the market, to pay the buyer's closing costs, because their realtor probably has informed them that a buyer may ask for closing costs. So when you the gist of it is that when you get ready to purchase a home, be sure to save up money for whatever it takes to get the transaction closed. So don't ever think that, well, I can just buy a house and I don't need no money down. That's not true. You will need some money down in the transaction. Earnest money, your good faith money, that's for seller to take the house off the market. So that's going to be one of the things that you need, and that's usually about $1,000. And then, of course, your home inspection. You want to get the house inspected. We always recommend that you get a house inspected, and that's going to be anywhere from $300 to $500. Your appraisal is going to be possibly about $600. So those are some things just off the top that you know. So always be sure to reduce your debt and save up money when you get ready to purchase a home. Even though you may be getting ready to buy a house, possibly you would have thought about buying a house last year, maybe get prepared to saving up money the year before to get ready to purchase a home. Always be prepared when you're getting ready to purchase a home and have money saved up. What does the credit score mean? So the credit score, the 620 or above is what we highly recommend, because when you have a credit score much less than 620, and it is a little bit difficult to get pre-approved. And I'm not saying that you cannot buy a house if your credit score is under 620, but you can. It's just a little bit more difficult, that the lender has to do more details and more is involved, and it gets to be a whole lot more stressful. So we highly recommend that you work on your credit. If you have issues with the credit, sometimes you can get those issues resolved within 3 to 6 months. So talk with the credit counselor, talk with the loan officer, see what needs to be done so that you can get pre-qualified to get a house. What all involved in the pre-qualification? You want to first contact a trusted lender, someone, and there's a lot of local lenders in the area. So, we recommend lenders to help you based on your needs and what programs is available that's going to be more beneficial to you. So you don't just want to stop possibly with one lender. You want to check out maybe 2 or 3 if need be, if you're not satisfied with the first lender, just to be sure that you're getting all the benefits that you can take advantage of. They're not giving you a lot of unnecessary fees and not adding a lot to your loan, so that this will be money that you would have to bring to closing. So you want to just be sure that you're getting the best deal from a loan officer. You can even send your loan estimate to another lender just to see if they can beat that or give you a better interest rate. The lender is going to ask for your tax returns, your bank statements, your financial, your check stubs, and all of that. So just be prepared that all of that is going to be involved. So if you have that when you get ready to go to get pre-qualified for a loan, that really makes it much easier too. So always have everything together. I recommend if you have it in an email or something, so that the lender you can send it to the lender. That's really helpful, and then it also helps you, so you're not so stressed out during the process. And of course, there's different kinds of loans. You got the conventional loan, so you can get a conventional loan. Sometimes you can get a conventional loan with no PMI. To me, that's a really good loan, but sometimes people cannot get that loan. So the next loan after that would be an FHA loan that's backed up by the government, by HUD. That's a 96.5% loan, and you'll pay 3.5% out of pocket. And then, of course, you have closing costs. So we ask the seller to pay closing costs if there's no down payment assistance. So being a first-time home buyer, sometimes you can get down payment assistance. And like I said, that some lenders have the 100% loans available. And a lot of lenders have the 100% loans available for the minority-majority area. That means that where there is an area where there is minority-majority. And a lot of times we'll think that means that you're maybe in a lower class, but that's not what that means. There is actually some new construction houses in South Haven that's a minority-majority area that, you got a combination of people that live there. So that, it doesn't mean that. And then, of course, you have the VA loan. That's for veterans. Veterans military, people who's been in the military, veterans, depending on which armed forces that they've been in, then they can get a VA loan. Okay, thank you. I got a note there and I just read that. But a VA loan is for veterans that people that has been in the military that can qualify for a VA loan. And a VA loan is a very, very good loan. So if you know any veteran that wants to take advantage of their VA eligibility, I highly recommend that, because that is a 100% loan. It's also a loan that does not have PMI. So a veteran can get a house and have their mortgage payment is probably a little bit less than the average because it's a VA loan. It's backed up by VA. And then, like I've talked about in the past, USDA. USDA loans are houses that's not in the city limits. It's in the urban area. So when you pass Hernando is a USDA area, but when you come in, if you're in the North Mississippi area, when you get out of South Haven, Horn Lake, some parts of Olive Branch, but when you get into Hernando, Nesbit, Walls, Lake Conroe, even going south, you can qualify for a USDA loan. And that is a 100% loan with no PMI. So that's really a good loan to get if you buy a house in that area. It all depends on the area for the USDA loans. Those are good loans to get. So we went over all the different loans that's available. And then after you've gotten pre-approval, you definitely want to find you an experienced realtor. So that's when you want to find someone that's going to work out for your best interest, that's looking out for you, and it's going to give you really good information. There have been times that I have come across people that had realtors that they was never told this or they was never told that. So that's what I'm saying. You want to get a realtor that's looking out for your best interest and giving you all the benefits and telling you all the benefits that's available when you purchase a home. You typically in Mississippi, you have to sign a buyer's representation agreement. And that's not Mississippi, that's nationwide. You have to sign a buyer's representation agreement. And then you want to have someone that's going to be very good with negotiating your transaction, and that is familiar with the local market, that knows what's going on in the area, knows what's available for you in the area, that is very knowledgeable with all the information that's available for home buyers in the area that you live in. And I know that I'm in DeSoto County. I'm licensed in Mississippi and Tennessee, so I have to be familiar with those areas. But some of you that may be listening to me may be in another area, so you definitely want to contact a realtor that's very familiar with your area and can give you the benefits, let you know what's the benefits of what's available out there for you to take advantage of. House hunting. You want to think about your needs versus your wants. So you know, when you get ready to purchase a house, you want to have an idea of what you're looking for. The neighborhood. Research the neighborhood that you're interested in looking for. Location is important. The school zones, the property taxes, resale value. All of those things are really, really important. I was with a client the other day, and if you live in DeSoto County or Mississippi, I think it's more relevant to DeSoto County, taxes went up this year for 2025. So when you got your tax bill end of 2025 and for the beginning of 2026, taxes went up in this area. And I can't say that it was a significant change, but it was a change. So we was looking at some houses in the Hernando area where new construction taxes was as much as $5,000 a year. Now that's a little bit unusual for DeSoto County, but real estate taxes has gone up, and you have to take that into consideration when you're getting ready to purchase a home, is what the taxes is going to be. Although the taxes will be included in your mortgage payment, but it does make a difference in your mortgage payment. So you want to be mindful of that and be mindful of your homeowner's insurance. Homeowner's insurance has gone up significantly too. So those are two things that you have to factor in, or the lender will factor in to your mortgage payment, in a determining factor whether or not this is what you can get pre-approved for. So those are things to be mindful of. Of course, if you're in the county, you only have county taxes. If you're in the city, you got city and county taxes. So those are things to be mindful of, and then be sure to know that these can affect your mortgage payment. So that's one of the things that you want to be really well-rounded and have knowledge about. One of the things you want to do is not buying based on emotional alone. Now, that's when you're getting ready to buy a house, your emotions really play a big part into buying a house, but be sure that you're not buying on emotionals alone. And then you want to be sure to understand it's a long-term investment, if this is going to be, some people call it their forever home. I think that I would not limit anyone to say that this is their forever home, because another opportunity may come up for you to purchase another home. And then also, things change with when years pass by. So you want to be able to possibly in the future, if you want to sell that house, be sure that it's in an area where it will sell. And then you want to keep up the house as much as possible, so that if you do decide to sell, then you would have a good marketing tool that someone would be really wanting to buy your house and pay you the amount of money that you want for the house. Now that's another topic that we could talk about, is when you list in a house, be sure that you are marketing a house that someone would want to buy. And the reason why is because buying real estate is one of the biggest investment, or the biggest thing that a lot of people may purchase. So if you're asking for $200,000 for your house, be sure it's up to par. Put some new light fixtures down, put some new flooring down, paint the house. The exterior wood, be sure to replace that, so that's a good marketing tool that someone would want to invest their money into your home. And then once you finish your house, honey, you get under the purchase contract. That's where your realtor is negotiating for you, and you have a contract on the house. That's when you'll pay your earnest money, your good faith money. That's for a seller to take their house off the market and be committed to selling the house to you. Now, when you have a purchase contract, there are some contingencies, okay, because you paid your earnest money. So you have 3 contingencies that you can get away from that contract if you needed to, or cancel the contract. Those contingency is the home inspection. Once you get under contract, you get the house inspected. If there's some issues that's wrong with the house and you are not completely satisfied, you got a number of days that you can cancel the contract and get your earnest money back. The next one is the appraisal. If a house does not appraise for the sale price, and the seller would not come down on the sale price, then you can get your earnest money back for that reason. And then another thing is that if you was pre-qualified for a loan, and for some reason something happened, and sometimes things happen, then you can always get your earnest money back. So those are 3 contingencies that protects you, so that you can get your earnest money back. But just think about this here. If you have a house that you're under contract, and you say, I no longer want this house, I want the house down the street, then you would have to forfeit your earnest money. So keep in mind that when you select a house, then be sure that you know that if you don't go through with it in the contingency are satisfied, and you change your mind, you can lose your earnest money. And a lot of people don't want to lose their earnest money, because earnest money is usually about $1,000. Excuse me. And you don't want to lose $1,000. So just be sure to be mindful of that. Home inspection appraisals, we talked about that, lenders, and what happened when arises with that. After you've gone through the process, about 30 days, giving the lender everything that they need, and be sure that you don't get frustrated, because sometimes they will ask you for things repeatedly. And if they do, And the reason why behind that is because you got a loan officer and they have a processor. If they ask you for information repeatedly, keep it in your email, keep it available, and give it to them when they request it. It takes a lot of stress off of you. And then within the 30-day period that you've gone through, that you're under contract, then you get ready to close on the house. That's your happy time, is getting ready to close. But before closing, you want to go back to that house and have a final walkthrough to be sure that everything is just the way it was when you first came there, or better. So be sure that when you're working with your realtor, and I usually recommend a day before at least to go back. Of course, if there was some major repairs to be done, you may want to go back a few days before, a day before closing, so that you can check on those repairs just in case if there was something not made or repaired correctly, then the seller will have adequate time to get that done. So a final walkthrough is very important. After the final walkthrough, then sign the docs. Now keep in mind that if you go for a final walkthrough and there are issues that you are not happy with, that you have previously discussed with your realtor, and she has given the listing agent that information, and that's something that you wanted taken care of and the seller has not taken care of it, you can walk away at that point and get your earnest money back. But you don't want to have waited at least 30 days and go through that process. So be sure that your realtor is on top of it. Even if you have to ask them, have they taken care of this? Have they taken care of that before the last few days of the closing? So you want to be sure that everyone is on top of that so that you can be happy and there's no, issues at the very end of the process. That's really important. Going to the closing attorney office, you're going to have the closing attorney is going to show you all the numbers, the closing numbers, the closing costs, the breakdown of where all the money went to, the escrow money that's going to be set in your escrow account. So what is escrow account? Escrow account is an account that your taxes and insurance is put into. That's like a savings account that your money, when you pay your mortgage payment, a portion of that goes to your escrow account so that your mortgage company can pay your insurance and taxes. So at the closing office, they're going to tell you how much money is going to be put into escrow. They'll explain to you about the taxes and insurance. And that's what I previously mentioned to you, that you want to be sure you're getting the best deal with homeowners insurance. Be sure to shop around. Don't just accept one quote. Shop around and see if you can get the best deal for homeowners insurance. And then, of course, property taxes is out of your control. So you'll know what the property taxes are. But when you're looking for a house, you have an idea what property taxes in that particular area is. Down payment assistance resources in Mississippi, you got Mississippi Home Corp. You got the U.S. Department of Urban Development, which is HUD. You had USDA for the 100% loan. In Memphis, you got the THDA office and other down payment assistance programs. You got local and city grants. Sometimes employer have housing benefits. And of course, the first time home buyers program that we always mention, if you can take advantage of the first time home buyers program, that's always good and beneficial. And sometimes you may get money for first time home buyers that is not a grant money. The difference between a grant money and a non-grant money is that grant money is monies that you don't have to pay back. You may have to stay in a house for 5 years, 7 years, but and if that means that if you sell it, then you may have to pay it back. But that's money that you don't have to pay back. That's not calculated into a mortgage payment. But they also have some down payment assistance where there is money that you do have to pay back. So that's a difference with down payment assistance, but it just depends on the person and what's going to be beneficial for you and what's going to work out for you in the process. Building generational wealth, like I said, and I'll say it over and over again, is very important. We want to stress and recommend purchasing a home so you can build generational wealth, so that you can have something that you can pass on to your family members, your children, your grandchildren. So, and then also think about that that equity versus rent. So you want to think about you paying a mortgage payment, but you paying on something that you can own. So that's something to look at. You also, with the equity in a home, you can take advantage of refinancing. You can get money for various reasons out of the equity of a home. So it can be for education, it can be for home improvements, it can be to take a vacation. So you want to use your equity responsible. And if you have equity, take advantage of that to help out to make your living a better living. Using home equity responsible is very important. You want to think about estate planning. Just say hypothetically, if you did pass away, you want to always have a will or something so that it can be in writing of what you want and how you want your property, your real estate to be passed down to your children, so your family members. If you pass away and you don't have a will, then it can be very costly, and your family members will have to take your property through probate. So a lot of issues can happen when you don't have things in order when a person passes away. So that's very important, that while you here and you're in good health and strength, to be sure to have everything in order so that if you do pass away, then your children's and grandchildren's, and if you don't have children, your family members can have everything in order, that it doesn't cost them a lot of money to get things in order if you do pass away. So that's important of wills and property transfer planning. Encouraging long-term mindset, buy smart, maintain well, and passing it down. Generational wealth is very important. Home ownership is not just about buying a house, it's about building stability, opportunity, and legacy. All right, that's the end of my class on the real estate terminologies on today, and I am open for questions from anyone that may have some questions on today.
There was one question in the chat. It says, paying down debt has always been more advisable than paying off debt when preparing for home purchase. What about consolidating debt to make it more financial manageable?
That consolidating debt, if it's gonna lower your monthly payout, then that's a good idea as well. So yes, the answer to consolidating debt is it's a good idea. If someone wants to consolidate debt, and it's going to cause you to have a monthly payment of less than what you currently are paying by consolidating it. That's a good idea, a great idea.
Hello. You
Hello.
had spoke about the wills of a parent leaving. What about if the parent has already passed away and they didn't leave a will or anything, but the house is, they still have a house to take care of. How does someone go about doing that?
Yeah, if there's wait, I'm getting some echo back. Basically what'll happen is that if they have a house and they got a mortgage, you continue to pay the house and continue to live in the house and do everything that you would as if you was living there. But however, if you decided to sell the house and your parents did not have a will, you would have to talk with an attorney and may have to go through probate.
Okay, so when I go through probate, will they let me just go ahead on and sell it, or will it just enable me to keep it and have it just in my name?
No, they'll allow you to sell it. Now, if you decided that you just want to keep it in your name, then well, if you just want to keep it in your parents' name, because you can't change names on it if it's in your parents' name. But if you're gonna live there and you have no intentions of doing anything with it or selling or anything, then you don't have to do anything. But if you decided, if it's your parents' house, it's in their name, you would keep on paying the mortgage payment, keep on paying the taxes, insurance, and everything. But if you chose to sell the house, then you would have to go through probate, and they would allow you to sell the house. or they allow you to put your name on it if that's what you want to do. But if you wasn't going to sell it, I probably wouldn't go through probate.
Okay, so you said don't worry about probate. Now, if I'm not gonna sell it and I just want it in my name, what else other than just living here and paying the bills on it? What else would I have to do?
You would have to go through probate if you just wanted to put it in your name.
Okay, I understand. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Okay, you
much. I
recommend
appreciate it.
and let me know if I didn't explain it well to you, but you would have to, if you want to change the name on the title, then you would have to go through probate.
Okay, thank you so much. That's what I wanted to know. I didn't know. It's been a lot going on, but I didn't know how to go about that. But I'm glad you explained it. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. I think there was another question that popped up.
Yes, ma'am. It says if I had a 620 credit score and purchased a car today, about how long would it take to purchase a house after today?
You can, if you got a 620 credit score, and keep in mind, you can purchase a car and you can purchase a house. But basically what it's going to do is it's going to lesser your amount of how much you can get pre-approved with buying a house. So what I would recommend is that if you was interested in buying a house and you was going to purchase a car, I would definitely go ahead and purchase the house first. And then after closing on the house, then purchase the car. But keep in mind that if you don't have a lot of debt, then it may not make a difference, because what happens is that out of 100% of your debt, 29% of that is calculated for the mortgage payment for your purchase of your home. So if your debt is low, already low, and you buy a house, then it won't affect it. And you can buy a house and you can buy a car at the same time, but the buying a car can affect the amount that you're going to get pre-approved for a house, because they have to count that debt. Did that answer your question?
We're waiting on the response. If anyone else has any questions, they say yes.
Okay, good, good, good.
If anyone has any more questions, they're more than welcome to unmute at this time. And Miss Mays, I'm checking social media to see if there's any questions on there.
Okay.
This is Carol.
Carol.
What did you say you said there were 3 reasons you could back out of a contract and not have to forfeit your $1,000 or so earnest money. I missed the 3rd reason you gave.
Okay, so the first reason is, it's contingent upon a satisfactory inspection, a satisfactory appraisal, if there was an issue with your loan. So let me give you an example for that. So those are the 3 issues, 3 contingency: inspection, appraisal, and your loan. But let me give you a scenario, okay? So just say hypothetically that since we are talking about buying a car, so just say hypothetically that you had gotten pre-approved to purchase a home, and you did not tell your lender and you went out and bought a car during that time, that has affected your loan. And it could be that your loan could now be canceled and you can't buy the house because you bought a car. Some more scenarios is that I've seen people that, and this is a absolutely no-no, when you get ready to purchase a home. If you're getting ready to purchase a home, I've seen people go out, they go buy furniture for the house. They'll go finance the furniture and for the house. And guess what? They can't buy the house, but they got the furniture. So when you get your loan pre-approval, be sure not to buy anything within that 30-day period until you have closed on the house, so that you can be sure that it doesn't affect your pre-approval. Now, if you was pre-approved and just say hypothetically you lost your job, and that happens unfortunately sometimes, then that could possibly affect your loan. And for all those 3 things, your home inspection, your appraisal, and your loan, then you can get your earnest money back for any one of those reasons. But hypothetically, if you said, okay, I like this house down the street, but I don't like this house, I don't like the one that I got the contract on anymore, I want to move down the street, then that's an unjustifiable cancellation and you lose your earnest money. So it has to be a justifiable reason why you canceling your contract.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There aren't any more questions on social media.
Okay. All right. Well, I have enjoyed today with you all, and thank you all so much for tuning in. And you all have a good and blessed day, and then we'll be back next month in March.